Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss about the welding transformer. So we will see here the principle of the welding transformer, requirement of the welding transformer, and some basic types of the welding transformer that we will discuss that types in briefly. So first, as we are knowing, the transformer is a static device which transfers the electrical energy from one electrical circuit to another electrical circuit, and this all happens through the medium of magnetic field. So AC electrical energy that is transferred from one voltage level to another voltage level with the help of transformer. Now, in case of transformer, there are generally two windings. One is called primary winding. So this primary winding receives electrical energy from the supply, and another winding is the secondary winding, which is used to deliver that electric energy to the load which is connected to that secondary winding. So transformer is a electromagnetic energy conversion device. So in this first electrical energy is converted into magnetic energy, and that magnetic energy is then converted into useful electrical energy again. So there are various types of transformer according to various references. So that can be classified. The transformer can be classified on the basis of service, on the basis of voltage level, cooling, and construction, etc. So all these types are mentioned here. So according to the service offered by the transformer, those are classified as power transformer and distribution transformer. Now, according to the voltage level, again these transformers can be classified as step up transformer or step down transformer or one-to-one transformer. And according to cooling method which is used in case of the transformer, that are classified as dry type transformer, air cooled transformer, oil cooled transformer, air forced oil cooled transformer, etc. etc. And according to construction, there are two main types. So one is the core type transformer and second is the shell type transformer. So now first we will see the principle of operating of the welding transformer. So here in figure you can observe the welding arc current remains sinusoidal, though the voltage is distorted. Now there are some transients you can observe here in case of voltage waveforms. So considering these transients, this point M indicates the voltage required to strike an arc, and the time during which this voltage rises from 0 to the voltage sufficient to reignite the arc, that is called as arc recovery time. That is called as arc recovery time. This arc recovery time should be as short as possible, because otherwise the arc may reignite and that arc will sustain. So now here in figure below we can see the two voltage curves, 1 and 2. So and two times are also shown here. This is T1 and T2 for these two welding power source. Now here voltage curve 2 that is having lower peak as compared to voltage curve 1. Now with this voltage curve 1, the arc striking voltage E is shown here. Arc striking voltage E is shown here, and the arc recovery time is T1. Now, in case of this curve 2, with same reigniting voltage E, the arc recovery time is T2. And this T2 is considerably large than T1. So, for maintaining a sustained AC arc, the welding circuit should contain an inductance. So, that will produce the phase difference between the voltage and current transients. When welding with low currents, the cathode that loses more heat than the welding with high currents. Therefore, the arc recovery time should be as short as possible. Now, for example, with a current of 160 to 250 amperes, an arc is readily initiated when the transformer has an open circuit voltage of 55 to 60 volts, say, with small currents. Say that small currents are about 60 to 70 amperes, and the no load voltage of the transformer should be 70 to 80 volts. So, if we increase the open circuit voltage, that will be dangerous to the welder's safety, and that will impair the power factor of the welding transformer. So, therefore, it is preferred to keep the open circuit voltage as low as possible within the applied constraints. So, this is the operating principle of the transformer. Now, let us see the requirements of the transformer. So, for the proper operation of the welding transformer, so the transformer should satisfy some requirements. So, I will just list out some requirements here. So, first one is it should have a drooping static volt ampere characteristic. Second requirement is to avoid spatter, the surge of the welding current during a short circuit should be limited to the least possible above the normal arc current. Third requirement is the open circuit voltage should not normally exceed 80 volts. In some cases, up to 100 volts is allowable. The output current should be controllable continuously over the full available range. This is the fourth requirement. And the fifth requirement is the open circuit voltage should be just sufficiently high for ready initiation of an arc and not too high to impair the economics of the welding. So, generally, these main 5 requirements should satisfy the welding transformer. Now, let us see the types of the welding transformer. So, there are 4 basic types of the welding transformer. So, first one is the high reactance type welding transformer. Second is external reactor type welding transformer. Third one is integral reactor type welding transformer. And fourth one is the saturable reactor type welding transformer. So, we will see these 4 types briefly. So, first type is the high reactance type welding transformer. When a transformer supplies current, so magnetic fluxes are produced around the winding as shown here. The lines of the resultant magnetic flux, say phi, transverse the magnetic circuit and cut the primary, that is this first winding, and secondary, this is second winding as shown here. But as we are knowing, not all the magnetic flux lines will cut the primary and secondary winding. So, some of these magnetic lines, say due to a primary current or due to a secondary current, so that will not cut the primary or secondary turns. So, because they are having their path through air, So in the diagram here, these fluxes, the say partial fluxes are marked as phi 1 and phi L1 and phi L2. So in other words, we can say these are responsible for the reactance of the coils and the respective reactive voltage drop across them. As the current increases, the leakage fluxes also increases, and so the EMF of the self-induction increases. EMF of the self-induction is increases. So this is why an increase in primary or secondary current results in the increase in reactive voltage drop across the respective windings. For a welding transformer to have a steeply drooping volt ampere characteristic, both primary and the secondary winding should have a high reactance. That is, they should have considerably leakage fluxes. Considerable leakage fluxes. Now, this condition they satisfied by placing the primary and secondary winding either on separate limb or on the same limb but spaced some distance apart. Now here in this figure, so both the windings are placed on same limb, but to satisfy our requirement, some distance is maintained there. So that distance is denoted here by B. So that is the distance between primary and secondary winding coil, so that the leakage flux as per our requirement. So control of current in high reactance welding transformer that can be affected by three methods. So one of them involves a moving primary coil. Means here, if you observe this figure, the secondary coil is fixed here at the bottom of the stick. But this is the primary winding, and we can move this primary winding from top of the limb to the bottom of the limb with this adjusting screw. So the spacing between the windings that can be obtained as per our reactance requirement, and hence we can obtain the desired output welding current. So the second method is shown here. So this method is based on the use of tapped winding. This method is based on the use of tapped winding. So either on primary or secondary side. So the variation of the transformation ratio that can be done by bringing in or out of the circuit requisite number of turns. So as shown here. So here the tappings are shown on secondary side. So if we change the tapping here, so number of turns in the secondary winding can be changed so that the transformation ratio can be changed. And the third method that utilizes moving or movable magnetic shunt. The position of this shunt placed in the paths of the leakage fluxes. The placement of this shunt is in the path of the leakage fluxes as shown here in the diagram. So that controls the output of welding current through controlling the reactance of that particular welding transformer. Now see second type, that is external reactor type welding transformer. This type of welding transformer consists of normal reactance, single phase and step down transformer, and a separate reactor or choke. Separate reactor or choke. The inductive reactance and resistances of the windings in such type of welding transformers are low, so that its secondary voltage varies but a little with the welding current. The required drooping or negative volt ampere characteristic is ensured by the reactor placed in the secondary of the welding circuit. This reactor consists of a steel core and a winding wound with wire designed to carry the maximum allowable current, which is designed to carry the maximum allowable current. If the secondary voltage of the welding transformer is V2, let the arc voltage is say VR, and the total resistive cum reactive drop across the reactor is say V2. Then these three quantities can be diagrammatically shown here. Here V2 is the secondary voltage, L2 is the I2 is the secondary current, capital R suffix small r, that is the reactor resistance, XR reactor reactance, capital R suffix arc, that is arc resistance, I is the arc current, V arc is the arc voltage, and VR is the voltage drop across reactor. So these three quantities that mathematically we can write as say V2, that will be equal to V arc plus V arc, or we can write V arc is equal to V2 bar minus VR bar. So thus we can say the arc voltage decreases with increase in current or with increasing voltage drop across the reactor. This gives a negative or drooping volt ampere characteristic. That will give the negative volt ampere characteristic or drooping characteristic. So here in the graph you can also observe depending on the core position the voltage and current characteristic. So control of welding current that can be achieved by two methods. This first method by varying the reluctance of the reactor, that is by moving the core reactor, or by varying the number of turns of the welding brought in circuit, and that is nothing but the tapped reactor. So control of welding current can be achieved by two methods. One is the by moving core reactor or by using tapped reactor. The core of the moving core reactor, that is shown here. This consists of a fixed portion carrying the winding and the moving limb, which can be shifted towards or away from the fixed core by a suitable arrangement. Means we can vary the air gap between them. So an increase in gap that adds to the reluctance of the magnetic circuit of the reactor, while its self-induction and inductive reactive drops, so that the welding current increases. And when the air gap is reduced, the reluctance of the magnetic circuit is also reduced and the magnetic flux increases, and that results in the inductive reactance of the coil and the welding current drop. In this way, the welding current can be adjusted very accurately and continuously. Now, in the tapped reactor, here tapping of the reactor are shown. So, in case of this tapped reactor, the core is made solid, but the coil is divided into number of sections. And each section is having a tap brought out to the regulator point, say. So, moving a contact arm, which is shown here, across the tap, that will vary the number of turns of that reactor, which brought into the circuit. And with that, the magnitude of the welding current can be varied. So, thus here, in this type, the current is controlled in steps. The current is controlled in steps. So, here the graph for volt ampere characteristic for tap position number 1 and tap position number 4 is shown. So, this is about the external reactor type welding transformer. Now, integral reactor type welding transformer. So, the welding transformer of the integral reactor type is shown here. It is having a primary winding and secondary winding, that is 1 and 2 as shown here, and the reactor winding 3, that is shown here. So, apart from the main limbs, the core has additional limbs that is carrying the reactor winding, and the current is adjusted by means of moving core C, which is placed between the additional limb, that is shown here. This is the moving core. So, the part that carries winding 1 and 2 is the transformer, and the part which carrying the winding 3, that is the reactor. The reactor can be connected with the secondary either in series aiding or in series opposition. Both the diagrams are shown. When the reactor is connected in series aiding, the open circuit voltage of the transformer will be then ET plus E2 plus ER. This open circuit voltage ET, that will be equal to this open circuit voltage ET, that will be equal to E2 plus ER, E2 plus ER, where E2 is the secondary voltage of the transformer and ER is the reactor voltage. Now, series aiding connection produces a stable arc at low currents, and that is employed for the welding thin plates. When reactor is connected in series opposition, that is shown here, then its voltage subtracted from the open circuit voltage of the transformer, and that is ET is equal to E2 minus ER. So, series opposition connection is used for the welding thick plates with heavy current. So all the details are shown here. The next type is the saturable reactor type welding transformer. In this welding transformer, an isolated low voltage, low ampere DC circuit is employed to change the effective magnetic characteristic of the magnetic core, so that the large amount of AC is controlled by using a relatively small amount of DC, and therefore it is possible to adjust the output volt ampere characteristic curve from minimum to maximum. For example, when there is no DC flowing in the reactor coil, it has its minimum impedance and thus the maximum amount of welding transfer current. As the magnitude of DC is increased with the help of a rheostat in this circuit, there are more continuous magnetic lines of force, thus the impedance of the reactor is increased and the output current of the welding transformer is decreased. This method is having the advantage of removing movable parts and flexing conductors and is often used for gas tungsten arc welding power supplies. So here this figure shows the basics of the circuit for a simple saturable reactor power source. To achieve the desired aim of low voltage and high current, the reactor coils are connected in opposition to the DC control coil. With AC, the waveform for gas tungsten arc welding is quite important. Saturable reactor tends to cause severe distortion of the sine wave supplied from the transformer. So placing an air gap as shown here in the reactor core is one of the methods to reduce the distortion. Alternatively, a large choke can be inserted in the DC control circuit, or we can use the combination of these two methods, so that will produce the desired results also. So this is about the saturable reactor type welding transformer. So now let us see also the parallel operation of the welding transformer. So in welding operation, sometimes there is a need for current exceeding the maximum welding current, which is obtainable from one transformer. In such cases, then the desired welding current that can be obtained by parallel operation of two or more welding transformers. The precaution is needed for such parallel operation is that the no load or open circuit voltages of the transformers should be the same. So this is the condition for the parallel operation of two welding transformers to obtain the desired welding current. And this is particularly essential in the case of high reactance type welding transformers, where the open circuit voltage and the transformation ratio vary to some extent according to the adjustment conditions and the control steps. When two transformers are connected for parallel operation as shown here in the figure, that is welding transformer 1 and welding transformer 2 that are shown here connected in parallel. So here the light terminals of the primary windings are to be connected to the identical line wires ABC of the supply mains, so that it is ensured the coincidence of the EMF phases in the secondary winding. Then the light terminals of the secondaries that are connected in pairs as shown. And such three-phase double operated transformers are marked here. So, other than this, the multi-operator welding transformers are also there. So, that are also called as multi-arc welding transformer. So, multi-arc welding transformer or multi-operator welding transformer, that system utilizes a high current constant voltage power source for providing a number of welding circuits at the same time, and that is used when there is a large concentration of the welding points in a relatively small operating area. So for example, in say shipbuildings, in construction sites, construction sites which are used for the power stations, or refineries, in case of refineries, in case of chemical plants, etc. So multi-arc or multi-operator welding transformer with a flat volt ampere characteristic may be the single phase or three phase variety. So only the disadvantage of a single phase multi-operator welding transformer is that it puts an unbalanced load on the three phase supply base. If a multi-operator welding transformer is to have a voltage which will not vary with the load, then it should have a low magnetic leakage and having the low inductive reactance. But this maximum variation in voltage that should not exceed 5%. The number of arcs or welding circuits which can be connected to welding transformer that can be found by the relationship say N is equal to I suffix T divided by I suffix A into K. Here N is the number of arcs or number of welding circuits. IT is the rated output current of the welding transformer. IA is the average arc current in each welding circuit, and this K is the diversity factor. This diversity factor K takes into account the fact that all the welders operating from one and the same power source do not work simultaneously. The diversity factor is related to average duty cycle and the laws of probability, but is reduced as the number of welders operating from the same transformer increases. So usually K is assumed to be anywhere between 0.6 to 0.8. This K is assumed to between 0.6 to 0.8. Each welding station is connected through a separate variable choke which provides a steeply drooping static volt ampere characteristic curve for each welding circuit. The welding circuits are connected in parallel because with this arrangement the source it is better utilized when welding with low currents of the order of 70 to 100 amperes. Now here one thing should be noted that the welding transformers are having a rather low power factor due to the fact that they incorporate coils having high inductive reactances. Therefore, welding transformer must not have power ratings higher than necessary for the performance of the assigned job, or they should not run at no load for long time. So this is about the welding transformer, their operating principle, the four basic types we have also seen. In addition to that, we also discussed about the parallel operation of the welding transformer to obtain the desired current for the welding. And also we have some brief discussion on the multi-arc or multi-operator welding transformer. So thanks for watching.